So Ben, you did your homework. You and Donald put your head together on this.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you the truth. When I came out with 1.0 last week, I gave Donald a lot of credit for the input that he gave me in coming up with 1.0. We did in fact put our heads together, and some of the picks that I came up with, I took into consideration a lot of the information that he gave me. However, I used some of that same information, but we did not exactly put our heads together for 2.0. So as we go through this mock draft, he may have some extra information. He may have some differences of opinion. He may be flat out going to tell me I'm wrong, okay? But that's what's going to make it interesting. So I'm ready.
All right. Here you go. The Dickerson Brothers 2021 NFL Mock Draft 2.0. Starting off with number 1, Jacksonville Jaguars. Go ahead, Ben. Take it from here.
Okay, so we're going to make this part really quick because the pick number 1 and pick number 2 are pretty much set in stone. The Jacksonville Jaguars will take Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback from Alabama, and the New York Jets, having traded away Aaron Darnold, pretty much set in stone that they're going to take Zach Wilson, the quarterback from BYU. Now, the intrigue begins right after that, okay? The number 3 pick in the draft belongs to the San Francisco 49ers. Your team, Barry. There's a lot of speculation on this one. I'm saying that they take Trey Lance, quarterback from North Dakota State, 6'4", 227 pounds, strong arm, can move, great size as you can see, can run if he has to, also can throw from the pocket. North Dakota State runs a pro-style offense. I love him. A lot of people like Justin Fields in this spot. I'm going with Trey Lance. What do you say, Donald?
I'm going with Mac Jones. San Francisco's head coach has worked with a lot of pocket passers in the past. Mac Jones is kind of mobile, but he has a good arm. He's pretty accurate, and I think he can pick up the system rather quickly.
Okay, so we got our first disagreement right there, but let's face it. The 49ers book is open right now. There's no telling what they're going to do. I say Trey Lance. He says Mac Jones. Number 4 pick in the draft belongs to the Atlanta Falcons. For now, there's a lot of speculation out there that there's at least 3 teams trying to move up to this spot. But until that happens, we can't really speak on it. So I'm going to say that the Atlanta Falcons go with the top offensive tackle on the board. That's Penei Sewell from Oregon. He's 6'6", 331 pounds. A big guy, very mobile, got decent speed, good run blocker. He's got the whole package. What do you say about that, Don?
I think that's a great pick for Atlanta. Everything you said about Saul, you're correct. But I'm also looking at Atlanta 2 different ways. They're on record, and it's the fact that they want to trade out of that 4th-round pick.
Right.
If not, I saw some interesting boards where they're looking at Jalen Waddle.
Okay, that's a possibility. Let's face it. Matt Ryan looks like he's going to be there for a while. Jalen Waddle would be a good pick for them, but they still have Julio. They do still have Calvin Ridley. So I'm thinking offensive line might be the spot they go to unless they trade.
Well, can I explain on the reasoning of that? Because of the fact that they have Julio on the outside, then they have Ridley on the other outside, and Waddle would be great in the slot.
He would be the slot guy. Okay, that makes sense. Number 5, we got the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals, I say, are going to take Jamar Chase, the number 1 receiver on the board from LSU, the same school that Joe Burrow went to, okay? His number 1 receiver, when he was there, he actually opted out this past season, but the season that he played with Joe Burrow, he was the number 1 receiver over Justin Jefferson, who everybody loves now in the NFL. Jamar Chase was the number 1 receiver over Justin Jefferson. The Bengals will not hesitate to take Jamar Chase. The only player I can see them taking over Jamar Chase is a real super special athlete, and that's Kyle Pitts who I have going to the Miami Dolphins at number 6. Kyle Pitts is a tight end out of Florida, 6'6", 240, checks all the boxes. Size, speed, plays inside, outside, great hands, great ball skills. Can't say anything but good stuff about Kyle Pitts. What you got?
Ben, let me just jump in here because we're down to number 6, and I want to make sure people understand your thought process because you kind of went into it last week when you first did your 1.0. But just give people an idea about why you are choosing the players that you're choosing. What's your thought pattern there?
Okay, I should have said that ahead of time, but I was so excited to get into this and get my brother involved that I kind of forgot. So let me throw this out here, okay? This is a mock draft. I did not copy this from Pro Football Focus, CBS Sports, ESPN. This is mine. This is my mock draft using my knowledge, my research, my looking at tape, along with the research and the looking at tape from my brother, okay? Along with that, I'm looking at each team and what their needs are. If you know anything about the NFL draft, teams usually draft for either need or a player that's a special person. Sometimes you got a special athlete that's on the board that you just can't pass up, okay? So that's usually what teams do. That's how they choose. So I'm looking at those things when I look at what team is picking. And then I determine who I think they should and or will take. Is that pretty clear explanation?
Yeah. Now, for example, some of these teams are taking people for reasons that I don't know are purely football reasons. So, for example, I'm thinking about the Jets. All right, the Jets are a team that could have kept Darnold, right, and made a move. But it seems to me that they decided for reasons of culture and things of that nature and for job security that if you get rid of Darnold, you bring in a young guy, you know that you pretty much are going to get a leash of about 2, 3, 4 years at the very least as a coach. And I wondered how much that plays into them deciding. Now, you don't care about any of that, but those kind of decisions could potentially screw up your mock draft, couldn't they?
No, I do care about that.
Oh, really? Okay.
You're exactly right. The New York Jets have a new head coach. It's Robert Saleh. He is not married to, I called him something else. His name is Sam Darnold. I'm sorry. He's not married to Sam Darnold at all. Nobody there is going to try to make a new head coach who they value and feel like is about to turn things around for them quickly, slowly, however it happens, and nail Sam Darnold to him or tie him to him. They're going to reset and they're going to start over with a quarterback that they really, really believe in. Sam Darnold's been around for a couple of years now. He's had his opportunities. He's had a lot going against him, different head coaches, different offensive coordinators. He's got a lot of things that haven't played into helping him succeed. But let's face it, they're ready to cut bait and start over. And they love Zach Wilson. So if that's what they're going to do, that's what they're going to do. You know what I mean? They could say,
Hey, Ben, I totally agree with what you're saying. Most of the time when there's a new head coach, he likes to get his own quarterback unless the general manager and the owner of the franchise has something to say. Exactly. So I totally agree with you with that.
Exactly.
In some cases, if they like the quarterback that's already there, then I guess the general manager and owner has to make that decision to keep that quarterback in place.
And they decided not to. They're going to give Saleh a clean slate, give him the quarterback that he wants, so they don't. In other words, if they bet on Darnold, who hasn't been that good, but has continued to show potential, but never really proved himself, if they give him one more chance and it blows up, they look crazy. But if they start over fresh with a new quarterback, it's like you said, Barry, they get a little longer leash, maybe another year or 2 or 3 years of a leash, as opposed to Darnold, who basically has a 1-year leash. So yes, we all actually agree.
So, okay, before we jump back on that, let me just remind people again that this is Ben and Barry on football. You can find us at www.benandbarryonfootball. We are on the radio on Fridays from 6 to 7:30 on WJRL 95.3. You can find us at www.wjrl953.com and also on social media. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention the podcast, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. All right. Number 6 was the Miami Dolphins. You said that you expect them to take Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts, Hall of Famer in waiting. I hope I don't jinx him. But yeah, that'd be a great pick, and that's going to help Tua quite a bit. Let's move on. Number 7 pick in the draft belongs to the Detroit Lions.
I don't believe you're moving on. You know I have something to say about that.
I'm sorry. No. Remember, I was going to throw it to you for Kyle Pitts, and then Barry jumped in. So I'm sorry. You're right. Go back. Give me Kyle Pitts.
Okay, I tell you what. I'm going back to 5 with Cincinnati, and I'm believing that they'll take Chase. I'm in agreement with that, but monkey see, monkey do. I believe Miami's going after Devonta Smith.
Okay, now I'm going to stop.
He has a connection with Tua.
I'm going to stop you. You know why? Because I'm going to let everybody know right now, I'm going to expose you as a huge Eagles fan. People are going to love you for it, but I'm going to expose you for a huge Eagle fan. And the huge Eagle fan, ladies and gentlemen, is trying to push Kyle Pitts down the board so somehow he can make it to the Eagles. Okay? Now, let's move on.
Donald, you have ulterior motives in your mock draft, man.
Sure I do, because Detroit is probably going to take Michael Parsons, Penn State, linebacker. Awesome linebacker.
He's killing me.
One of the 2 people I listed on our Facebook page that were not wide receivers and cornerbacks that ran a sub 4.40, I do believe.
Yeah, 2 of them were Penn Staters.
Yeah. All right.
But listen, I'm going to explain to you why Detroit is going to take Devonta Smith. You Eagle fans that want Devonta Smith, forget about it. Lest we forget, not only did Detroit lose Stafford, but they got Goff. Brandon Goff is all wonderful and everything. He's younger. He's proven he's got potential. He's played in a Super Bowl, but they let Galladay go to the Giants, and they let Marvin Jones go in free agency also. They have no wide receivers. They have to take a wide receiver. Chase is gone. They go Devonta Smith. You can't argue with that one. Devonta Smith is the next guy off the board unless it's Waddle, okay? Let's go number 8, Carolina Panthers. I think they'll take Rashawn Slater. The reason in my 1.0 draft, I had them going quarterback, and I was hoping that they would either get Fields or Lance. But since they made the move for Darnold, now quarterback is out of the equation. So then now they have to go offensive tackle to help Darnold out and protect him. I think Rashawn Slater is going to be a good player for them. Offensive tackle out of Northwestern, 6'3", 315 pounds. Good pass blocker, real great feet. You know about Rashawn Slater, don't you, Don?
Yes, I do. Even though they list him with small arms, he can play guard and he can play tackle. And he's one of the top 3 offensive linemen I have on my charts.
Yeah, he's got short arms. His arms are relatively short compared to some other guys at tackle. They like tackles to have long arms, but he's proven that he can play the tackle position. Chances are when he comes to the pros, he'll be bumped down to guard. I say bumped down like it's a demotion, but it's really not, okay? But at 315 pounds, the guy can handle his own, okay? Now, gets interesting again. Number 9, the Denver Broncos now find themselves able to get out from under Drew Lock because guess who's still on the board? Justin Fields. Justin Fields, I think, will go to the Broncos. He's out of Ohio State. Good size, 6'3", 227. Strong arm. Obviously has running ability. The only knock on Justin Fields that I heard, and I'm going to ask Donald after I'm done, but the only knock I heard on Justin Fields was he held the ball a little long and had some problems with his post-snap reads and going through his progressions. What do you got on Justin Fields, Don?
Well, he's a mobile quarterback. He's very good when it comes to run and pass. I'm pretty sure they're going to do a lot of OPRs with him to try and get the ball out of his hands, which means that he has to go through his progressions quicker. Whether he can do that, I mean, I don't know. I hope he can. I like the pick for the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
So are the Denver Broncos giving up on what's his name, the existing quarterback, you think?
Yeah, I think they've given Drew Lock about
I believe so.
They're going to give him. Yeah.
I believe it's going to be a quarterback battle in camp.
And guess what? If you look at the Denver Broncos receiving core, it's pretty young and pretty fast and pretty energetic. Like they got good.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
We're just waiting for a quarterback to can put them guys to work, really. So that the only other thing I would say here, if they don't take Justin Fields, maybe they take Mac Jones. I think they'll.
And what's really interesting is that if you look at tape on him when he played for Ohio State, they did a lot of crossing routes. And they definitely have a lot of speed on at wide receiver. So
yes.
I'm looking at a lot of crossing routes. I'm looking for throws down the hashes. And I'm also looking for some maybe not really trick plays, but maybe bubble screens, something quick to get the ball out of his hands and then work on his progression during the season.
Yeah, bubble screens, jet sweeps, that kind of stuff until he really gets his feet under him. Yes, I agree.
Now, I was one of those people that questioned that whole thing about Ohio State quarterbacks not having a history of success in the NFL. And I actually kind of felt bad because there were a few people in the media that were taking umbrage to the people who are saying that he did not have that, like he was deficient in his ability to read the field and get from his primary to his secondary to his third. And they're saying they didn't really see that in his play, As I told you, physically, once I saw the pro day, it was impressive, size, speed, arm, all of that was very impressive. The only question was one, and it's almost like he has an institutional stain on him,
Yeah.
And it's a shame.
Dwayne Haskins has not helped Justin Fields.
Not at all.
He has not.
Not at all. Okay.
So
you want let Donald read this one, Benny.
Well, this is kind of mine based off of mine and his input. So he's still going to disagree with some of these.
Well, no, I'm just joking because we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. But then I didn't realize the Giants is next. So that this NFC East, you guys go ahead, battle it out. Let me hear you.
He's an Eagles fan, bro.
I know, which means he hates the Cowboys, right?
Yeah, well, guess what?
Or does he hate the Giants more? I'm not sure.
I hate Dallas more than I hate the Giants.
Okay, let's get that clear.
It doesn't matter who hates who. You're going to hate this if this happens. And I know I am because I love Micah Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State. But I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to take him. Number one, because he's a high-end athlete and he's still going to be on the board when it's time for them to pick. And number two, because they really need linebackers really, really badly. They need a lot, but a star linebacker they could really use. I know you got a lot on Micah Parsons, Donald.
You know what? I think it's a great pick, even though I think he's going to get selected before 10 with Dallas picks. I got Dallas getting Patrick Surtain. They need a shutdown corner.
Yes, they do.
He's projected to be the best corner in the draft. Farley, people are giving up on him because I just realized that he had 2 back surgeries. And they say back surgeries are not minor. So even though Farley is better than Surtain, right now Surtain is the best corner coming out of college football right now. So I think Dallas will select them.
Let me say this real quick about the Surtain and the Farley thing. The back surgeries that they discovered about Farley are not good for him, but Surtain athletically really showed off in his pro day. And we know that sometimes a real good pro day has a tendency to push you up the board. So I kind of think that could have happened, and it's a good possibility that Dallas could make that pick. I don't think they will, because I don't think Parsons is going to go before. Let's face it, we've done from 1 down to 9, okay? And you haven't said, no, I think they're going to take Micah Parsons. So Micah Parsons is still there for Dallas. I believe they take him, which takes me down to the New York Giants at pick number 11. Bro, as badly as I want the Giants to take another receiver, in my heart, I want them to take a receiver, but in my head, I know they need an offensive lineman. So I'm saying they're going with Christian Darrisaw, who's an offensive tackle out of Virginia Tech. Please, Donald, make me feel better about that pick. Tell me about Christian Darrisaw.
Hey, he's like a top 3 offensive lineman. What can I say? I mean, he's top of the line, but
he's got.
I think I really believe that the Giants are going to throw a curveball, and they might get an edge rusher. I got Jalen Phillips.
No.
The only problem with Jalen Phillips is he had a couple concussions or a few concussions, and I know teams might back off on him, but he's really, really good. I saw some film on him, and he plays with meanness, intention to really hurt someone. And it's funny because the guy that used to play for the Miami Dolphins years ago, what was his name? Zach Taylor? He reminds me of Zach Taylor. So I looked up the bio, and Zach Taylor was 6'6", 260, and Phillips is 6'5", 266.
Yes,
both of them are rangy, long arms, and they try and hurt you when they when it comes to run stuffing or chasing somebody down or rushing the passer. They're very unique players to me.
Yes,
that would be a steal. I mean, it would be a reach, but it's a steal.
Okay, and you could be right, but his name is going to come up as we go down the line. But I like that you found that physical likeness with the small frame, or I should say, the thin frame, along with the height. Those kind of guys are extremely hard to block coming off of the edge.
Well, he's not small. It's just that he has a long frame, sort of like Zach Taylor, who used to play for the Miami Dolphins.
Right. I understand.
He's very powerful, strong man.
Right. When I say small, I don't mean small like he can't handle the physicalness of the game. What I'm saying is he's long, so he doesn't give the appearance of a big, muscular guy. Okay.
More wiry?
But he is wiry. Excuse me?
More wiry in his build?
Yes. Wiry was the word I was about to use. That is correct. Those kind of guys are extremely difficult to block when they're coming off the edge with a lot of speed, okay? But I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to diminish his strength in any way, because I'm not. The guy is strong and he can play, okay? Well, we'll see about that. But where we are now is at number 12 with your beloved Philadelphia Eagles, and you should be extremely happy because I am predicting that the Eagles will take Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, out of Alabama. Are you not happy about that?
You know, Pitts is 1A and Jalen Waddle is 2B.
Pitts is
so
gone, bro.
I have no choice but to take Jalen Waddle. The only problem is something leaked out of the NovaCare Center about 3 days ago.
Uh-oh.
And they were saying that they were experimenting and moving Jalen Reagor to the slot. Now, that changes things.
Holy crap.
Because even though Waddle can play on the outside, I believe he's a better slot player. And he does special teams, so that's a plus. He checks off all the boxes, and he's fast. So maybe they're trying to throw a smoke screen up so they don't want people to think that they're going to get Jalen Waddle, because most of the steps were out of the slot. So now they're telling teams they're going to move Reagor into the slots, thinking that other teams might think we'll select another player. Because I know the kid from LSU, what's his name, Marshall? His name's been popping up lately.
Oh,
and I think he's like a third-string wide receiver in my book.
Yeah, his name's going to be popping up.
Let me mention, just real quick, came up on my phone, Bleacher Reports reporting that the Eagles are re-signing Jordan Howard and that they're signing Eric Wilson, former Vikings linebacker. So Eagles are busy as we speak. They're doing things. All right. Los Angeles Chargers.
Los Angeles Chargers. Okay. So Mr. Herbert came out of nowhere and thrilled everybody. He especially helped me in fantasy football. I love him. So why not reward my man with another wide receiver? Let's face it. Keenan Allen is a great player. Mike Williams is a really good player, but Mike Williams, I believe, is on the last year of his contract. They got to get another weapon for Mr. Herbert. Hence, they go wide receiver. I think they will take Elijah Moore. Now, let's remember, this is a very rich wide receiver class, okay? There's a lot of receivers out here. We can mix and match guys all day long and argue back and forth, okay? But I'm going to make a decision here, and I'm going to say Elijah Moore from Ole Miss goes to the Los Angeles Chargers at number 13. A receiver is the pick that they should make. At number 14, the Minnesota Vikings, they got to get an offensive tackle. Yes, the Vikings need defense. Yes, they do. But they also have a pretty dynamic running game and a wide receiver in Justin Jefferson who has proved that he can get down and make plays. You got to keep Kirk Cousins clean. I think they'll go with one of the top offensive tackles in the draft, and that's Dylan Raduns from North Dakota State, the same school. This guy just got finished blocking for Trey Lance, okay? So they had a chance to look at him work. He's 6'6", 299. You don't normally see numbers like that for an offensive tackle. Very tall, but again, like we were talking about Phillips, the edge rusher, he's long, okay? Probably has extremely long arms. What do you know? Do you know anything about him, Donald?
Well, the only guy that I was actually watching some film of the other day was Calvin Johnson, who's about 6'6", 6'7", 300 pounds. And he plays offensive tackle. And the only one that the only guy that gave him trouble was Ronnie Perkins, the edge rusher from Oklahoma. But I'm thinking that they're going to go offensive line and protect Herbert even more.
Yeah, no, I'm doing the Vikings now. We're talking about protecting.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think they'll go offensive line.
Okay. Yeah, I think they'll go offensive line also. I think this guy's pretty intriguing right here. North Dakota State, obviously, if he blocked for Trey Lance, he's a good pass blocker, which is
You're
what
talking about Dylan, right?
I'm talking about Dylan Reduns.
Okay. Yes, I like him.
Okay. Great size for a tackle. 6'6", 299. He's got to have long arms. I don't have his measurements.
Yes.
But I like him.
Definitely.
Okay. So now, after all the speculation about the New England Patriots moving up, and let's face it, that could still happen. As far as my mock is concerned, they can stay right where they are at number 15 and still get Mac Jones. I believe that they signed Cam Newton to one more year. Number one, because they like him. But number two, because they need somebody to hold down the fort until they can get a new quarterback in there, their quarterback of the future, and get him prepped and ready to go. Okay? And I think that Mac Jones is the guy that they want. I don't believe they will have to trade up to get him. I could be wrong. Okay? But I don't think they're going to have to trade up to get him. I think Mac Jones is sitting right there at number 15 for them. Now, I know you like Mac Jones, right, Don?
Yeah, I like him a lot, but
You
I
like him
also
better than
heard
Trey Lance?
that yeah, kind of, because Trey Lance, if you notice, or if anyone has talked to you about him before prior to me, was he only played 1 year. He only has 1 year's worth of tape on him.
Okay.
So that might be interesting to some teams. But the thing about Mac Jones is I think New England is interested in him, and that would be a good pick. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure.
First of all, you can't say you don't know because you know New England needs a quarterback. Are we correct on that? We agree on that?
Yes.
So if it comes to the 15th pick in the draft and New England is up and Mac Jones is there, they're crazy not to take him, correct?
That is true.
Okay. All right. I want to make sure we're on the same page here. Now, but
I was saying Mac Jones is going to go to San Francisco.
Right.
There's a lot of mock drafts that are saying that he's going to San Francisco, and there's a lot of reasoning behind it.
I'm with you. So guess what? If Mac Jones goes to the Niners, who's sitting there at 15? Trey Lance.
I don't know about that.
The Patriots take Trey Lance?
I don't know. Just because
that's a possibility.
Just because the Niners don't take him.
That's a possibility. Everybody else is going with mobile quarterbacks.
Barry, scroll back up. There's a lot of teams that just went between the Niners and where we are now that don't need quarterbacks.
One of these quarterbacks is going to fall, and you know it.
Somebody's falling, bro. It's either Lance, Jones, or Fields. One of them is falling. For sure.
Well, all right. Let's move on. Number 16.
I love it. Arizona Cardinals, number 16. When the Cardinals go on the clock, guess what? Bro, they got Nuke. Larry Fitzgerald just retired. Christian Kirk is kind of okay. They grabbed AJ Green. Hopefully he bounces back. It's tough to have a good year the first year after you come back off of a knee injury. So AJ Green still should have some life left in him. I think he's going to have a bounce back year. You need that third guy. And that third guy, I think, will be Rashad Bateman from Minnesota. A really good route runner. Good size. 6'2", 209 is really good size for a wide receiver. Okay? I love Rashad Bateman. And if he goes to the Cardinals, Kyler Murray is going to be extremely happy.
I wonder who he's going to bump because the kid has magnetic hands. He runs great routes. He's very fast. And he actually fights for the ball. There's some receivers just go up for the ball. He fights for the ball. So he's hungry. I think it's a great pick.
He's going to bump Christian Kirk. He's going to bump Christian Kirk as the third receiver right off the bat. And if A.J. Green doesn't get himself together, guess what? He'll be on the other side, outside with Hopkins. So,
well, that's fair. You know what? That pick is very interesting, and I agree with you totally because I had J.C. Horn going to the Cardinals.
a D-back. That's interesting.
Yep.
That's interesting. But I think that they're really trying to settle Kyler in. They believe that Kyler Murray can be a really great NFL quarterback. So they're going to go all out to give him as many weapons as they can. And the move with Hopkins.
And they're not settled at running back. Remember that. I think they're going running back in the second round.
Yeah, they probably will go running back in the second round. I'm pretty sure. All right. So at number 17, the Las Vegas Raiders. Looks like they're sold on Mr. Carr for now. I don't think they're going to be looking to get a quarterback, especially in the first round. They won't. So we got to protect Mr. Carr, and we have to make sure that we have running lanes for Josh Jacobs. So they go offensive tackle. I like Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State. Huge dude, 6'6", 320. Strong run blocker. Proved himself as a really strong run blocker. His pass blocking, I don't know a whole lot about. I didn't look at a lot of tape on Tevin Jenkins, but he's definitely a good run blocker. So I think the Raiders go there.
Yeah, that's the guy I was talking about earlier that I thought the San Diego Chargers would pick.
Okay.
But you know what? He looks just like a Raider. He's tough. He's nasty.
Mhm.
And like I said, only one player I saw on film beat him, and that's Ronnie Perkins from Oklahoma, the edge rusher.
Okay.
Everybody else he eliminated. He pancaked them, and he just manhandles people. Left and right, got a long arm reach, great punch. You know, he's quick with his feet. For a guy his size, he's very athletic.
Okay, wonderful.